It feels good being back in familiar waters. The turbulence must have vanished along with Sky's Divide. There are no clashing climates in that region of the sea, with it gone. We should, as well as what will happen. Dimitri and I talked while you were asleep. I'm going with him. Even though we don't see eye to eye, he's the only one willing to confront what must come next. If you make the right offer, you can convince even the most stalwart visionary to turn mercenary. No, it's entirely my decision, and I'm surprised he's agreeing to it. Shifting our focus to make things easier for all of us down the line. First things first. My agreement with Dimitri was made on the condition that I accompany him around Skyrim to locate previously unknown Ashen camps. Piecing together his years of reconnaissance with my prior visitations, we can map out their network. We'll be working against the clock. If a Siren agent discovers what we're doing, word will spread, and bounties will be placed on our heads. Dimitri's existing reputation won't be doing us any favors either, with the Ashen or the Empire. You can't. This is a mission best handled by a few. They're in a state of disarray. At best, we may sign on a few remnants, but a formal allegiance is out of the question. No, I don't want them getting involved and attracting even more attention from the Empire. They've done enough in Skyrim, for better or worse. I'd sooner put my faith in the locals dealing with the Ashen than to trust the Imperials. Their ties to the Dominion also doesn't instill confidence. There's an opportunity to covertly antagonize the Ashen and direct Siren outrage towards the Dominion's enemies on this side of the continent. After speaking with him, he isn't as stupid as I thought. Dimitri knows his limits, and he's wise not to exhibit them by being humble. Don't worry about that. I'll keep him reined in. I can't do this alone. I need an entire team, and his contacts already have the predisposition of going up against the Ashen. If the day comes when we're forced to mount an offensive, we'll know where they'll be coming from. There's no other option. What she told you in the grotto, we can't win this conventionally. Before you retired, you told me your experiences on the island. Considering what she put her unit through, I find that a relief. A mortal, with her level of cruelty, was an unsettling idea to live with. There were signs throughout the years that she wasn't all that she seemed. Cracks in the disguise that were uncharacteristic of any Ashen I'd ever known, Tom Rielborn or Akaviri. With the maidens out of the way, she'll be getting more use until replacements arrive. I'm positive I haven't seen the last of her. I'd say good riddance, but I'm worried who will end up replacing them. You must be mistaken. It couldn't have been me. No, it's not what it looks like. This is embarrassing. Ashen sometimes paint their hair for ceremonies of honor and shame prior to battle. Rites of passage, the changing of one's life. White is my hair's natural pigmentation. Well, it became that way shortly before I left Okavir. blonde. A few days after my confrontation with Misha, Freya said something to me that I never fully understood. The eyes of the azure sky are upon you, Ashen. For now, accept your failure. When you're ready, accept reality. She handed me the ingredients for the dye, and a pair of eyeballs, Misha's, caked with void salt. My graying hair, at such a young age, was a mutation of sorts. It reminded me of someone. It reminded me of her. I had to get rid of it. That's one way of putting it. She wouldn't have made it without the sirens and the Ashen as a whole. We were all under her influence from the very beginning, and I was too blind to realize it. Then there was you. She had a plan for you too. She knew your presence would be fleeting, insufficient to unravel what she's constructed over the years. She wanted to free you from your own future, convert you to serving as the acting figurehead for the sirens and more. And if you refused, there would be no harm done. What could you do then to stop her? The truce between the Sayesi and Saliquine, it was established with you in mind. The Sayesi kingdom is colossal. If all the enslaved Ashen were released with the intent of sending them here, it would be considered a full-scale invasion reminiscent of the ancient tales. No one knows the total number of Ashen anymore, not since the days of Istis. We've all become physically disconnected, only unified in common purpose. Saliquine. They may not realize it, but she has once again become their icon. It will be a slow start. Conquest won't be spoken of openly, but it will be in the plans. Whatever lies will be crafted to divert attention away from the Sayesi at home. They'll accept them, if it means salvation. They're my immediate concern. The Sirens are a lost cause, following the recent purge of dissenters. I need to look into the local Ashen camps further, and see how deeply rooted Saliquine's influence has become. Judging from my last visit after our trip to the Legacy Bastion, I expect the worst. I can't help you with that. The Ashen know virtually nothing about the competing races. The Sayesi aren't invincible, thankfully, if the legends of the Kapotan whittling away their holds are to be believed. But they have as much interest in conquering Tamriel as the Sayesi. I fought them for as long as I could remember before coming to Tamriel. Yet, despite the centuries of conflict, the Ashen never knew how their society functioned past the surface level. Those who dared to go further into the territory, beyond the slave encampments, were never seen or heard from again. I'm starting to wonder if the Sayesi are much more menacing than they let on. There were books, tomes, scrolls, the usual, but the structure of the literature we seized made no sense. Subjects would shift abruptly within the same sentence. It was as if reading the words of 1,000 authors speaking to you at once. Our amateur scribes could only translate so much without the aid of a translator or a garrulous Sayesi. Even under the harshest torture, the Sayesi were very protective of their written word. There was this one passage from a thick white book emblazoned with the crest of a red dragon, similar to the one used by the Empire. It was some kind of strategic, philosophical theory to conquer a people without the death of a single Sayesi. It proclaimed that a kingdom's downfall can come about by leeching off the victories of paladins, paragons of virtue. That their ingrained nature to do good and never stray from the righteous path ascertains triumph for the Sayesi. The theory is being applied to your kind and Tamriel. Journeying to Sky's Divide, per Matari's scheme. Aside from that, it's more about what you haven't done, and will never do. Not enough to sully your legacy. History will remember you fondly as the hero of Skyrim. Only you. The fight itself can still be won. The Sayesi are experimenting with a technique they've never employed before. There's still a chance for someone to break through their setup. It's going to be me. I have to do this alone. I won't fight for the Sayesi. I'm loyal to Tamriel. And to... As who? I hope to not find out. I'll do my best to avoid confrontation. Don't say that. Fighting long after you leave us. I am afraid. But when the time comes, I know I'll be ready to do whatever the situation demands of me. I've done it all before. I can do it again. You should head back to shore. I've kept you around long enough. If you insist, go to Euphoria Palace. See if Matari has fully discarded the facility. Aside from that, you should get back to your own journey. Dealing with the Sirens, Salaquine, the Sayesi, that's my burden. Maybe, if we don't see each other again. It's been an honor. For my own sanity, don't worry about how I'm holding up. Chances are, from this point forward, everything you'll hear or read about me is a lie. The Ashen always had their way. Steer clear of them. Matari would have advised them to do the same, but they won't hesitate to defend themselves. Until we meet again, Paso Silum. Stay safe out there.
A pleasure seeing you again, madam. Ties were severed when they left the palace abandoned. Never did I expect I'd have to enact this procedure. Roving about the land, signing deals, filling out paperwork, making myself sparse at the behest of the former proprietors. How was your journey? I don't recall implying you left Skyrim, only that you've been on a journey. I take it that it was the former then. I'm curious to know exactly where you've been, not to mention the Siren's whereabouts. Terrific. Anyway, getting straight to the point. It would be in our best interest to have Euphoria Palace resume business operations. I lack the authorization to make such a decision, but as you're the last known member of the Sirens, all administrative decisions fall to you. You'll have the opportunity to generate a steady flow of income. Find workers, send them on assignments, and accept your share of the payment. Same as you, gold, just like when the Sirens occupied the lower quarters. It's quite simple. Look for prospective workers in the local taverns, hire them, and then send them here. I'll handle their schedules. I'll be here if you need my help to get situated with the protocols for sending workers out on assignment. In any case, welcome back. Madam? I was informed of your arrangement in Jonestead and thought it would help save you the trouble of making return trips. Yes. Taverns, the hub for the wandering traveler in search of work. If you're in need of a specific worker, you'll have better luck narrowing your searches to particular regions. Say you need an Argonian. They're rare enough this far north as it is. Therefore, your best bet is a tavern in the Rift, temperate climate. Bretons, Orcs, try the western holds that are closest to their kingdoms. You'll need to check the missions map. I believe it's 100 or so. It's based on the tally of how many beds are available at the moment. Best not to take more than we can provide lodgings for. The dormitories are rather cramped and mundane as per the original arrangements. Once we're back into the daily routine, I'd be thrilled to introduce some much-needed decor with your permission. Not at the moment. With the passing of ownership, there's a heavy stock of paperwork I'll need to renew through the proper channels. That branch of the palace has always prospered under our formal approach. It's what has drawn in our wealthy clientele and set us above the common city bordello over the years. I'll also need to hire a new madam. Like the rest, she disappeared following the attack. A shame. She was quite a charmer. Dependable, too. Take your time. Yes. Go to the map of Tamriel. Everything will be laid out for you there. There's two, solo and group. These require only one worker and take 3 days to complete. Workers are sent out to serve as maids for clients in Skyrim's cities and towns. During this time, they'll provide scout reports and assist in local matters. You may find yourself in an advantage when traveling through the same areas where maids are currently assigned. Monetary rewards are minuscule compared to group missions, but solo missions are guaranteed to succeed without the possibility of casualties. Each group mission requires 4 workers and takes a week to conclude. The teams are sent out to other provinces for special tasks involving resource procurement. The journey is perilous, and hostiles are a potential factor, hence the need for combat training here at the palace. To ensure success, it's best to send workers who are natives or are welcomed in these lands. Take the situation in Hammerfell as an example. Obviously, a Redguard would find assignment in the region to be quite pleasant. Bretons and Nords would also fare well. At Altmar, on the other hand, given the recent war, sending one there would be suicide. If you balance your teams well, The hauls of goods are sizable. Take too many risks, and there's a chance we lose a few workers along the way. Take your time.